Hey everybody out there, Joe Pasquale here for another Copper Canyon Cigar Chat Live. Today, I'm joined with Calvin Gray of Ashton Cigars. How's it going, Calvin?
Going great, man. Pleasure to be here.
Oh,
This
thanks.
beautiful new studio. Like you guys went all out. It's
No,
a nice setup.
thanks, man. No,
Yeah.
we're really happy with it, and I'm really happy to have you on. Obviously, we carry a lot of your products, and I guess we'll dive into the company first. So, Ashton is the company you work for.
Absolutely. Yeah. So Ashton, it's interesting because it is a no-face brand, right? A lot of brands, it is a family name. There's a face to that, right? Ashton was founded in 1985. It was started by a gentleman named Robert Levin, second generation tobacconist in the Philadelphia area, and he wanted a product that he could sell to other retailers and then also in his stores, right? And that eventually led to the Ashton Classic, the 898 in particular, that Vitola. That was the first product that hit the market in 1985. And then obviously since then, that has grown quite a bit to include multiple lines with the Dominican side of the portfolio, and then multiple La Roma de Cuba, San Cristobal lines as well. Yeah, that's like a brief short history of the beginning of Ashton.
Sure. No, it's really cool. You probably get it all the time when we're at an event. People are like, "Well, where's like Mr. Ashton?" Like,
Yeah, absolutely. And there's like, well, there isn't really a Mr. Ashton. The cigar is kind of the feature, right? It's a cigar brand that most consumers recognize. Most consumers have had Ashton at some point. If anything, the Ashton Classic, like that's still our top selling cigar. We sell more of that than anything else. And it's such a successful cigar that for some people, when they first are exposed to the brand, it is that Ashton Classic. They try that and they're like, oh, this is good. I like this. And then they kind of move on, and then they think like, oh, all Ashtons are light, right? Because they're thinking of the Ashton Classic, the Churchill in particular, right? And then it's great running into consumers who you get them to come back. Like, well, when's the last time you smoked a VSG? Or have you ever had a VSG? Or Symmetry or Age Maduro, any of these other lines. Like, well, I haven't. You get them to smoke that again, and then they, their eyes are opened up like, wow, I didn't realize that there were these offerings, varieties from Ashton, right? Yeah, it's fun.
and so with Ashton again, and we carry Ashton and La Roma de Cuba and San Cristobal, all of our locations. And so Ashton, again, if you're not familiar with the brand, the Ashton Classic is that mild to medium, really eloquent smoke, very refined, on the more expensive end of cigars, but it's a great price point. It's for those guys that maybe, a Padron smoker, a Davidoff smoker, but again, not as expensive as even some of those. But then the VSG. So tell me, what's VSG stand for, and tell me more about the VSG.
Yeah, so Virgin Sun-Grown is what that stands for. So that blend on that cigar, Dominican tobacco is for the filler and the binder. The wrapper is actually Ecuadorian Sumatra Maduro, right? That cigar hit the market in the early 2000s. And at that time, that darker Sumatra was not a common thing, right? Back then, too, that was a limited edition. It was an allocated item. Whenever it came in, it only went to certain stores. It was kind of hard to find, right? And then throughout the years, as production increased, it became more of a staple in most cigar lounges. Nowadays, like it's something that I would expect to see in a lounge walk into. But yeah, that's Ecuadorian Sumatra Maduro on there. It's a cool combination with that coffee, cocoa that you get from that wrapper. Some of those darker flavor notes, and then from the Dominican tobaccos, you get a lot of like very sweet, cedary notes. They're very bright, right? So that combination is it's kind of unique. You don't get too many cigars that have those lighter Dominican flavors with that heavier, cocoa and coffee overtone to as well. Yeah, it's if it's something that haven't tried, it's definitely a must try. That's something that I smoke pretty consistently. Yeah. I like that one.
No, again, it's one of those cigars that when you're thinking of the line, you think of Ashton, VSG, and Classic are definitely the two that I get asked for the most or recognized the most. And if I worked at a place or if I was at a place that didn't have Ashton, probably one of the most requested cigars that people would ask for. You got VSGs? You got VSGs? And like, oh yeah, they're over here. Or, oh no, we don't. And people are like, oh, I'm a VSG guy. You're like, oh, that's great. What we're talking about today, and we are going to film a full episode after this short live. La Roma de Cuba is a brand that we're featuring at Copper Canyon right now for the month of February. So right now in February at our locations, if you walk into a store and you buy a box or box equivalent, we have some stuff to give you. So right now we do have these awesome 3-packs. So if you go into one of our stores and buy a box or enough singles to equivalent a box at our location, you're going to get this 3-pack. What's in the 3-pack, Calvin?
So the 3-pack is going to be all Toro sizes. You have one of the original La Aroma de Cubas, one Mi Amor, and one Edición Especial.
Oh,
right?
awesome.
Yep.
So again, and that's also on the website. So if you're on the website and you buy a box, and we have a ton of La Aroma de Cuba in stock on the website. You buy a box of La Aroma de Cuba, you're going to get one of these mailed to you. If you buy 2 boxes or the equivalent, Kale, if you want to do the middle shot here on the table, we do have these rocks glasses. So you can get a set of rocks glasses plus 6 cigars. We're going to send you 2 of these 3-pack samplers if you buy 2 boxes, and then 3 boxes. Oh, plus the lighter. Sorry.
Plus the lighter. Yeah.
Plus lighter no matter what. So you buy a box, you get a lighter. 2 boxes, you're getting the lighter. 3 boxes, obviously, you're getting a lighter. But 3 boxes, you're getting 9 cigars, and then this really awesome heavy ashtray.
Oh,
This thing is really nice. So this
quality.
heavy ashtray, you're going to get this guy right here. So 3 boxes. It's all out there on the website. Things are on the main page. If you go on the main page of the website, there's a La Aroma de Cuba special that we're running through the end of the month. So all the details are out there. But again, these are also available in the stores if you're shopping locally. But the reason we're doing that, and we want to talk about these cigars, is you and I love La Aroma de Cuba.
Mm-hmm.
We love pretty much everything out of My Father factory.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why, and it's fun because when you talk about the line, you talk about the brand, if you like a milder Nicaraguan cigar, you got the Connecticut. We're smoking Connecticut's right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then you also have the broadleaf line. And right now we have Noblesse in the stores. And even in a couple of locations, we still have a little bit of small batch left.
Oh.
So when you're talking about the portfolio, how do you guys see the brand, and what's the brand speak of to you guys when you really want to sell somebody on La Aroma de Cuba?
Yeah, so La Aroma de Cuba, I mean, for us, it is, so the original, the El Jefe in particular, I mean, that's one of our top selling, right? It's a very important cigar for us, huge in the market. It's been out for a very long time. La Aroma de Cuba, the original, 2008 is when it switched production over to My Father factories, right? That relationship with Don Pepin is just, it's great to have a manufacturing partner like that. You know, he's truly one of the greatest, like masters in the industry, right? So getting to work with him on these products is amazing, right? So the La Aroma de Cuba original, that blend, very approachable, right? It looks a little bit darker and heavier than it is. It does have a broadleaf wrapper on it, right? That broadleaf, though, it's a little lower priming, right? So it's not going to have the intensity that some other broadleafs are going to have, right? And then for the filler and the binder, for that blend, that's a very versatile blend, right? That's utilizing tobacco from Esteli, Namanya, and Jalapa. What's fun about that is the balance that you get from that filler combination, right? Jalapa has these delicious savory, like almost when you think of like bacon or prosciutto, salted meats, right? It almost makes you salivate, right? Namanya, a little on the drier, earthy side, right? So you take that dry, you kind of balance it out with that savory. And then Esteli is just like when you think of like Nicaraguan earth and strength, right? That's kind of the backbone of it. So it all just works out very, very well. And then with the original, you have that Connecticut broadleaf wrapper I was talking about. Or the Connecticut, the Ecuadorian Connecticut, the only thing that's different is the wrapper. It's the exact same blend, just Ecuadorian Connecticut shade for the wrapper. So it's interesting to see there are some similarities, obviously, because of that filler and binder, but very different smoking experience, right? The Connecticut is actually, I would say it's the cigar that I smoke the most out of our entire portfolio. It's in that light to medium range, a little bit closer to medium, I would say, right? So it's kind of that new age style Connecticut, right? Like not quite your dad's Connecticut. It's got bolder earthy note, right? The earthiness has like a nice little buttercream finish to it. As you get into the cigar, there's a little bit of dry cocoa that kind of comes up too. And then the nutty notes, you get lots of like roasted cashew going on. So it is one of those cigars that when I am being a little indecisive and I don't really know what to smoke, I just kind of default to that, right? Not too strong, not too light, just very well balanced.
No, it's definitely not light. And that's, I think I love a Connecticut with body and some potency to it. And again, like you light this up and initially you're like, this is, one, it's Nicaraguan, and then 2, like, I'm like, this is definitely My Father tobacco. Like, again, we smoke a lot from, you know, both of us have obviously smoked a lot from that factory. Talking about La Aroma de Cuba, the My Father cigars, Tatawahe. Obviously, both you and I love Tatawahe.
Yeah,
just
great brands.
And so again, you're blessed that you got into a company where you're like, oh, I can just smoke a lot of My Father cigars.
Absolutely.
At La Aroma de Cuba, which again, they make great stuff. This Connecticut, if you're a mild smoker, this is gonna have some bite to it, but it's not gonna be overpowering. You could have it in the morning with a cup of coffee. You could have it with a whiskey. It's really a versatile Connecticut in a lot of ways.
Well, then if you are looking for a milder option, there's 8 sizes to choose from. You can kind of like pick your journey. Oh, you go with the larger engaged size. It is going to be a little bit lighter. Right? It's going to be like if we're drinking whatever spirit it is, it's kind of like putting a couple rocks in there. Just kind of opens it up, makes it a little bit lighter with that larger format. If you want a little bit more strength, you can go all the way down to like a Corona. You have all those options, those size options.
Have you guys ever done a Lancero in that?
So before my time with the company, so I've been with Ashton for 2 years, right? I can't remember exactly. I think we're going back 8-ish years now. They actually did a Lancero. It was a sampler, if I remember correctly. So
Okay.
it was the Edition Especial and I think San Cristobal Original, a mixed sample. Great cigars, very fun sizes, right? And from what I've heard, it was something that a lot of the sales guys were, we want a Lancero. We want that like aficionado size, right? It is a cigar nerd's size, right? That ultimately just doesn't sell.
Correct.
Most humidors you walk into, they don't have a lot of Lanceros, right? Anytime you're talking to, someone who is like a full-on cigar nerd or aficionado, though, we tend to talk up the Lancero like it is like the best size, right? But so they did these samplers and there just wasn't the response, the sales to back it up. So they haven't done it again, which is a shame because that Edition Especial in that size, absolutely amazing. Right?
It would be ridiculous. And it does suck because I get emails sometimes from a company, company X is like, hey, we're doing blah, blah, blah on a Lancero. And I'm like, oh man, I'm really excited. But then in the back of my mind, I'm like, but who's going to buy it besides me and a couple people? And you'll put Lanceros in a humidor and just watch them sit and you can tell people about them. And hopefully the right person walks in and they find it. I had a guy in one of my humidors yesterday that was like, you guys don't carry really any Lanceros. And I was like, where did you come from?
Right.
And then I started, I was like, no, we do. I started finding stuff that was like close.
Like
I was
Lonsdale.
like Cazadore size,
Yeah.
where I'm like, that's skinny.
Right.
Well, that's kind of like a Lancero. I was like I felt terrible because I was like, well, I had like a couple, but really I was struggling to like find anything that was like a traditional Lancero size. I was like, well, that's like a Corona, Lonsdale. And then, I was like defending my humidor against this guy that wanted Lanceros.
Yeah. Well, at the end of the day, like you said, like you want to stock stuff like that. And like, even me, like I love a Lancero, but for me, it all depends on the blend too.
Yeah.
Right. So like if it is a really dark full body blend, I usually don't want something as small as a Lancero. Right. I kind of want to do something that's like not a little bit bigger. Right. But if it is like in that light to medium range, Lancero is great. Now, that being said, I still don't smoke Lanceros that often. Honestly, like if I'm in a social setting, like right now, it would be very difficult to smoke a Lancero just because, I'm talking and then I'd have to relight it. And then, then you're trying to catch up almost and you're like overheating the cigar real quick and easy. So it's best smoked in my opinion, like by yourself. So you can really focus on how you're smoking the cigar and what you're getting out of it.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
That's just because you really want to enjoy that blend. And again, there's some fantastic Lanceros. We were talking about a straw Lancero. The first thing in my head that popped is like that Dom Pepin Blue, like original Lancero. That thing is
Strong.
So strong.
Oh, well, it's like the pepper right up.
Oh.
It almost smacks you, right? And then it kind of calms down a little bit. Yeah.
That is like Hall of Fame. If we did like a Hall of Fame list for like Lanceros, it would be like the Dom Pepin Blues like up there as like one of them. It's just like that cigar is, if you like full cigars, if you like Lanceros, that's like a must try.
Absolutely.
And I think Rex and I were talking, on one of the earlier episodes about, the Laranja Lanceros and the stuff Arizona or coming out of there. There's some really fun ones that I've had in the past. And like, actually probably one of my favorite Lanceros I ever had. I think I still have maybe 10 left in my box at home is the original El Huense Lancero.
Oh yeah.
From Foundation.
Mm-hmm. Aged very well too.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
And that's from like, God, that box is from probably 2017 I have in my house.
Oh yeah. No. There's been some really good Lanceros over the years. Yeah, for sure.
Maybe we'll have a resurgence.
I don't know. I feel like that's something that, maybe because like this newer generation of cigar smoker, right? like the younger guys who are getting into it, they're definitely more, experience driven. They want to nerd out about it. They want to get into the details of the blend and the flavors, right? At least just from what I've seen for younger guys, And then once you start introducing them to smaller sizes and explaining, the ratio of the wrapper to the filler and the binder and how that's going to affect the flavor of the cigar, they kind of get into it, So I think I don't know, maybe in the next like several years, you're right. Maybe we'll see like a little bit more focus on smaller sizes.
Maybe. I mean, we still have like everybody has to still make a Gordo at this point too. So it's like, I know that's what's hard. It's like, but it's like if I'm ordering like sizes of cigars, I'm like Robusto, Toro, Gordo, gotta have those. Churchill probably, yeah, you have to because there's just guys. I'm always fascinated. I've never been like a Churchill guy.
Yeah.
And like we sell a ton of Churchills.
Really?
Oh yeah, a ton.
Huh. I think like, I don't know. I find that like if I'm like, I don't golf that much, but if I am going out golfing, like I kind of want like, that type of cigar. Or if it is, I'm sitting down to watch like a game or something, I kind of want something a little bit long, but I don't smoke them too often. It's not too often that I'm going for that.
See, I'm the other, like I would rather have like 2 Robustos, like 2 different cigars. If I'm sitting, I'm like, I'm like picking out my cigars for the night, right? We've all done this. Like we're putting together our travel case for wherever we're going and what we're doing. And it's like, I might feel like this, might feel like this. You always bring like 40 cigars knowing you're going to have like 2.
Right.
Like you're going to get there and you're going to go, why did I even bring that? I don't want to smoke that right now. I don't want to smoke that right now. Whatever it is. And I'm always like, I'd rather have like 2 or 3 than like one really long one. Cause I won't say get bored of it, but like, I don't know. I just like having like 2 different cigars. Yeah.
You want options, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. But I think with the sizes too, like it is to most consumers, it's a value, right? Like when you're looking on the shelf and it's like you have like your Corona, Robusto, Toro, Gordo, usually the price difference is like within like $1 for each, right?
Yes.
So if you're looking at like $10 for the small size, but then that Toro or that Gordo is like $2 or $3 more, you're kind of like, well, I'm getting more value out of this. I feel like that's where the mindset of a lot of consumers.
Yeah. I have a friend that smokes like minimum 6x60s. That's his that's his minimum to smoke. And we'll get him to smoke giant cigars.
Yeah.
And his whole reason behind why he smokes Gordos as default is he smokes so fast. That he's like, if I smoke a Robusto, I'll smoke a Robusto in like 30 minutes. So he's like, when we would smoke a normal cigar, that's what he'll smoke a Gordo in. He smokes so fast. So that's why he goes big because he's just chain puffing through. Oh my God. Yeah.
Right. Got to slow down and enjoy it every now and then.
I do 100%. I smoke fast and I still watch him and I'm like, geez.
I have a bad habit of like mimicking the pace of whoever I'm smoking with. Right. So like my friend group that I smoke with the most, right? I have a guy like that who he smokes way too fast. And I noticed that, the more time that I spend smoking with him, all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, I'm halfway through this cigar and it's been, 25 minutes. Like, what am I doing? Yeah.
If anybody has any questions out there, again, we're going to be getting off of the live here in a few minutes. Again, this is Calvin Gray from Ashton. We are promoting La Roma de Cuba this month at all of our locations. So again, you're getting a box at our stores or on the website. You're getting this 3-pack plus a lighter. So great deal. Great cigar. Again, all of our boxes are 20% off anyways. Even if you mix and match singles in the stores, you're getting 20% off, which is a great deal. Plus, again, the freebies and the lighter. And again, we talked earlier, if you get 2 boxes, you're getting rocks glasses as well. Plus, 3 more 6. So 6 cigars. And then if you're getting 3 boxes, you're getting ashtray, lighter, the rocks glasses, and 9 cigars for that promotion. So check it out on the website or go into our stores and talk to our lovely staff. I've been educating everybody on the brand in our stores and getting them all excited for La Roma February right now.
Oh, it shows too. I had a couple of stores on the way here, and like as soon as I walk in, they're like, "Oh, we're doing it! Like we're doing the La Roma promotion." So they're definitely excited about it. And then I also just want to point out too, so the Copper Canyon stores, you guys are a Noblesse account, right? That's a very special cigar for us. That does not go to every store that wants it.
Here, hold it up. Hold it up so you can see. It's a beautiful box.
Yeah. So Noblesse is something that we've had in the market in the past, right? We stopped producing it in 2019, I believe. Took it off the market, reblended it, rebranded it, right? So it's a very different version of what the old Noblesse was. This is a much darker, much heavier option, right? So in my territory, I cover all of Michigan, all of Indiana, and then Northwest Ohio. I have 14 stores that are Noblesse accounts, right? You have to, basically there's just parameters that, you qualify for that cigar. We want to make sure it's going to stores that like actively support the La Roma line because it is a higher price point La Aroma. It's going to be in the low 20s, depending on what state you're in and the taxes, right? But it's blended to kind of be like the crown of the La Aroma line brand family, right? And that blend right there. So you have Nicaraguan filler and binder, right? A little different than the filler combination for the original that I was talking about. It's also going to have tobacco from Contega in there as well. And the wrapper is a San Andreas Oscuro, right? Now on paper, that looks like a very heavy, full-bodied blend, right? This San Andreas Oscuro smokes a little bit softer, right? And what I mean by that is like the pepper, instead of it being like really sharp black pepper, it's like peppercorn, right? Instead of the coffee being like a super heavy, like French roast, like dark, bold in your face, it's more like a nice espresso with like that crema, right? The cocoa, instead of it being like dark chocolate, it's like red velvet chocolate cake. That's a flavor that really shines through in that blend. So it's definitely, whether you're a seasoned aficionado or you're just kind of getting into some slightly darker cigars, it's definitely a must try and not available at every store. You're not going to see it everywhere. No.
That's awesome. Yeah. And again, we do carry that at our locations. It's on the website as well. So if you want to pick up a box and they're 20% off, but definitely check those out. Again, Calvin and I are going to get to recording our full episode. So look for that in a week or so. We're going to get that on the channel. So for Calvin Gray, thanks for being with us, Calvin, on our live. I'm Joe Pasquale. Thanks for joining us on the Cigar Chat Live with Copper Canyon. Stay smoky out there.